Hello viewers, today we are going to see about errors. NCERT 11th standard physics. It's an important topic. So the errors can be broadly classified as gross error, systematic error and random error. So in systematic error we have instrumental error, environmental error, observational error. In instrumental error, we have loading effect, misuse of instruments, inherent shortcoming of instruments. Okay. So in systematic errors, we have three: instrumental error, environmental error, and observational error. So now we will look into the basic definition of error. What is error? So it is the difference between the true value and the measured value. So the true value may be 90 degree Fahrenheit and the measured value will be 91 point something or 89 point something. That means there is a error. So we have to find out due to what reason this error has occurred. Okay. So the gross error, each topic will be covered separately as a separate topic in the upcoming videos. So now I'll tell you some important error concepts alone. So in the instrumental error we see loading effect. Loading effect means suppose in a circuit without the connection of ammeter and voltmeter, you will be viewing some current or voltage. Theoretically in paperwork it gives some value, but once you connect the ammeter and voltmeter, because of that ammeter and voltmeter some resistance is introduced in the circuit, therefore it modifies the overall resistance and the current will change. Okay, so that is called loading effect as per due to loading of ammeter and voltmeter. But we have so many other reasons in different mechanical considerations. In each application we have this kind of loading effect. Then misuse of instruments. Misuse of instruments means we have very good instruments, but the person doesn't know how to use that instrument and he doesn't know whether that instrument can be used for that purpose. For example, I want to measure 1 ohm resistance. Actually the resistance is 1 ohm. But my measurement starts with first reading 1K, it goes up to 10K. That means first reading, first division is 1K, 2K, 3K, likewise it goes up to 10K. Now first division is 1K. That means between 0 and 1, even if you divide into 1000 divisions, then you will get 1000 ohms. But marking in a small space of 1000 divisions, it is highly impossible. But in that it has to show, the needle has to show, in the case of analog meter, analog ohm meter. So the needle itself needs some current to deflect. Okay. So based on the circuit setup, the needle itself won't deflect to show that 1 ohm precisely or accurately. So that's the problem with the misuse of instruments. So what he has to choose is, suppose the range, deflecting range starts from 0 to 10 ohms. Then in that case the first division 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 3 ohm, likewise 10 ohms. In that case there is a deflection in the needle to show 1 ohms comfortably. That means the angle of deviation is much higher in this case. So when we choose, when we try to get one measuring instrument, we should know what's the range we have to use, whether it can read that value or not. Connecting a good meter and without knowing how to use it, and we may say that the instrument is fault or it is giving an error. So that is not correct. That is misuse of instruments. The third case is inherent shortcoming of instruments. See, if you see the RLC meter, resistance, inductance and capacitance meter, when you buy, it is for a voltmeter, multimeter and all, you can get it for 200 rupees. But the same multimeter you have for 40,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees, even for 1 lakh, and more than that also for precise measurements. So why this huge variation? Because this low equipment, low priced equipment, it may not give you the accurate value. That means it has its own difficulty, own problem, own mechanism problem. So the instrument itself is having some problem. Okay. So that is the built-in problem within the instrument is inherent shortcoming of instruments. So this is one case. Now if you come for environmental error, see, you all know that while conducting Ohm's law, the surrounding temperature should not vary. It should be fixed. And all other conditions, but predominantly the temperature around where you do the Ohm's law experiment should be same. It should not change. So suppose assume that while you are doing your experiment, because of something, the temperature around that room is changing, then the Ohm's law will fail. So that is called environmental error. Actually the entire setup, everything, equipment, everything is correct, but because of environmental variations, we read a wrong value. And this happens equally for mechanical experiments also. The pressure, volume, stress, strain, so many things will change. Spring tension, because of wind force, so many things, the heat, the value will change because of the surrounding parameters. That spoils the particular experiment. That is called environmental error. Observational error. Observational error is due to humans. They may not read the correct value. The viewing and taking the reading correctly should be done. If not, observational error. And you have random error. Random error can happen. We don't know because of what. Any parameter will influence while doing the measurement and it will change the value. To some extent we can predict, okay, these are the causes of variations are due to this. So slowly we can correct. So in random errors, we should take care about the surrounding parameters, and small things, fine things should be taken into account without neglecting any parameter. In that case, we can move towards the accurate value. So for random errors, we don't know what is the reason for the random. To some extent, we can predict that these are the reasons for this error, and we can carefully handling all the small minute things into account, we can avoid that random error, but still it cannot be made zero. Okay. Then gross error. Gross error, when we measure temperature or something, it may read a true value and the meter itself will show some other value. That is one way of seeing the gross error. Another way of seeing gross error is, suppose a setup is there. It involves electrical parameters, mechanical parameters, pneumatic parameters, and some other electrical parameters. So it involves different, assume it involves different science branches. See, a small error introduced in the front end of the system, say electronics or the sensors have introduced a small error. As far as the first department or the section is concerned, it is a very small error. But the data travels to the next section with that error included. So when the next section goes, assume that it is having some mechanical parameters, spring tension, and the spring tension is likely to vary plus or minus some value. So in that case, those errors along with this gets magnified, and finally if it goes to a output section which the conversion efficiency may not be good. So in that case, the overall errors, if you take all these minute errors, will get magnified, and those parameters, those errors are also called gross errors, but this should be taken into account at each stage of operation of the overall system. Okay, so that's all about the very broad classification of errors. You have different types of errors in each and every domain, but by and large these are the major blocks involved for computation of errors. Hope you have understood this topic, this block diagram. In the subsequent videos we will see each and every block with examples, how it is going to affect the system and what is the errors produced because of that block, say cross error or instrumental error. Hope you have understood this topic. Thanks for watching. Nandri.